I'm here taking a short video of my 87 Ford Mustang GT. I recently did the 3G alternator swap. A while back I did the 3.8 Taurus fan swap, which flows about 4,500 CFM on high setting. Got to do a little customizing to get it to fit in here, but this thing is a great electric fan upgrade, and you can see all over the internet. A lot of people do the upgrade. Anyways, when I put this in, I noticed I was running it on a toggle switch on high or low setting, and it pulls a lot of amps. So I had to upgrade from the old school 75 amp alternator here, shown on some of the 302s, to the 130 3G alternator that came in like the 94 and above Mustangs. Anyways, I'm just here to clear up a little bit of the confusion that I had with some of the wiring. I basically went out and bought 10 foot of 4 gauge and put it here on the positive side of my solenoid so it gets positive power. Comes around the front, runs into a 180 amp circuit breaker. You can see here with the gold terminals. Basically, if it surges, it'll pop this, and I can just reset it, find out what's wrong with it. 4 gauge runs all the way up to here onto the gold terminal on the 3G. I've also, on some of the old alternators, as you can see here, used to be a square plug, and there's a spade connector plug here. The spade connector plug on the 3G is the same as on the 75 amp alternator, as you can see here. Same thing, just plugs in the same way. 3G does not use the square plug. You can see this is the old square plug from my wiring harness that used to plug into the 75 amp alternator. And you can see how Ford, you see it plugs in right here, and you can see how Ford took one wire and made two in this plug wiring here. And it also had a white stator wire. Now, this white stator wire used to jump to the spade connector plug. You can see here the white wire I have here. Alright, it's looped. And basically what I did was, as I went down the wiring harness about a foot and took the single wire that's inside some of this tubing here, and ran a 10 gauge, which is the same size as that, run the 10 gauge to the same pole that I ran the 4 gauge to. Those are the only two things that hook there. Now, what I also did here was I snipped it about 2 inches below here from this, there used to be a loop, like I was saying. The white stator wire used to jump between the two connectors. Now you take this connector, you cut it, and you can go to the junkyard and find a 94 and above Mustang or 3G alternator application and steal its stator plug, which plugs right into here, and just splice it in with any sort of wire connectors or a solder. So that clears some confusion up. In a nutshell, take your one plug, cut it, add 10 gauge wire, put it on the gold terminal side, run your 4 gauge wire from your solenoid side all the way around to a circuit breaker or inline fuse, and put that on the gold terminal. Cut the white stator wire that jumps between the two plugs, plug it into a new stator wire on this side, on this plug. The green and yellow wires do not get touched at all on the spade connector. So that's about it. That's the 3G alternator upgrade with wiring. If you have any other questions, you feel free to message me or email me or what have you. But basically, ever since I've ran that, I haven't ran any lower, even with the high setting on a 3.8 Taurus, which sucked about 2.5 amps, which is pretty ridiculous. I probably, even with that on, I probably still sit at about 12.5 volts with the car running at idle. And it's a great charging system. I run a big truck battery in this, and I've had no problems ever since. My lights don't dim, nothing dims, everything's in great shape. So anyways, that's about it for that.